Spoilers for the end credits scene, but let's talk about the Executors. I want to go into a bit of detail about the lore and speculation that they might have for the future of Dragon Age. So throughout Veilguard, you'll find these strange circles that you can interact with. If you find 3 of them, you'll unlock the end credit scene, and you'll also unlock some codex entries, and I just wanted to share the last codex entry. So this group has been trying to find these strange circles, and they've been searching through old journals, missives, anything that spoke of air feeling greasy, that seemed to have a sign of these mysterious circles, and even broken ones had given off that same quality. And eventually they find one of these circles, but they also find the Executors. It looks like a person, though oddly dressed. Grey robe, grey mask and a helmet. Then they moved. Fast, suddenly in front of me, and they were reaching out, but there was something wrong with their arm. It was changing, shifting. They managed to shoot it in the chest and quickly escape and give up looking for the circles anymore because it's too big a risk, but it does seem like the Executors are linked with changing and shifting forms. So in the post-credit scene, we find out that these individuals have been guiding events throughout all of Thedas since the beginning of Dragon Age games, and they've just been behind the scenes for some unknown reason. But the Executors have appeared in the lore before. We hear of them in Hard in Hightown, which is the book that Varric writes in-game, and they're known as like a myth. It's said that everyone knows that the Executors aren't real. In Inquisition, in one of the War Table missions, we find out that this symbol keeps appearing in different places in different outposts, and we can investigate it further. One of the outcomes of this mission is that we lose an entire outpost to the Executors, as they have given themselves of their free will to a higher cause. But if you pick Liliana, you can actually chase down one of their agents, and you get a message that says, remember that for the moment, we are not your enemy. And as a gesture of goodwill, they'll give you some knowledge, signed the Executors. The next time they appear is in Tevinter Nights, a Dreadwolf Take You short story, where an Executor is in one of the meetings to try and stop the Dreadwolf. A faint whiff of the ocean from his robes and something beyond the ocean, an Executor. Solus also states, I would caution you dealing with those across the sea. They are dangerous. Now, the Executors are referred to as those across the sea, as well as the Executors, but I do find the smell of seawater also interesting, as that does appear in Tevinter Nights as well during the Horror of Hormak, from the well that Gillenane has in her underground lab that can turn people into monstrous entities. Also, when Gillenane's having banter between her and Elganon and she speaks of dreams, she does speak of dreaming of masked eyes across the sea, a storm that drinks the sky. Which I do think it means it could be linked to the Devouring Storm, which is part of the Tash's quest regarding the Qunari and something that they're fleeing. The Sea of Rowan speaks of when the great foe struck, we embraced the blood of dragons. Champions blessed with fire protected us and saw the unseen. We escaped to distant shores but found no peace. Disease will lay us low. If more people flee across the ocean, it means our people failed. Prepare them for the Devouring Storm. Now, it seems that Qunari have always been related to dragons. They seem very similar to dragons, so I think something in the Qunari origin is definitely linked to this Devouring Storm and possibly the Executors as well. I also think it's possible that Anaris has some kind of connection to them, or they have some connection to the Forgotten Ones as well. Not only because he is wearing a grey cloak and has lots of downwards pointing triangles, but also because of this mystery substance that Anaris is also working with that has a yellow glow, and the well in Horror of Hormak also has a lyrium crystal that has a greenish yellow glow. And it states here that this substance has a magic that can devour all others, just like maybe that's what the Devouring Storm can do. And there's also a note by Balara that says the word devours shows up elsewhere too, very specifically that word. Eventually the person does consume this substance, and upon doing so there was a sound, a terrible rending sound, and his form changed. It rippled and grew and shone with an unnatural light. And then there was power beyond any I've ever seen. I shield myself just in time, but the others did not, and of them nothing remains, not even dust. Again, just like Gillenane's well, this seems to be linked with changing and shifting forms. On Anaris' death that he states, I will not go back, I must escape its eye. Maybe the eye of a storm, maybe. I want to touch a little bit on the symbol and the text, because the text look really familiar to me in some ways. So this is the opening for Dragon Age Origins, and I just thought that the way the circle is with the text, it does kind of remind me of that Executor end credit scene. So maybe they have been here this entire time. And maybe this mural is showing that they've also been sealed off, as that imagery looks kind of similar. But I can't help but noticing the number of triangles in these murals, and in here there's also two wavy lines, so perhaps the Executors are beings of the Fade, and that's why they seem to have such weird forms. Emmerich does speak of beings in the shadowy spaces of the Fade that we don't fully understand, and maybe that's what this is showing. This shadowy area here could be where the Executors are, and maybe they've been influencing the events in Thedas all this time, especially with the Canary and the Devouring Storm. So hopefully we find out a lot more about the Canary in the next game. Let me know if there's anything I've missed, I'm sure there is, and give me your theories in the comments.